really enforce the citywide curfew shutdown so we can arrest anybody who's walking around.
Okay.
My command wanted me to come talk to you guys and request that you guys secrete either inside the facility so we're in your vehicle somewhere where it's not a violation. I don't think so we can, so we don't look like we're playing favorites.
Candace Owens was reminded by the people who pay her that now's the time for her to come out and say terrible things against Black people. And that's exactly what she did in reference to George Floyd. This video was just so, it was just so disgusting, and I hated that I needed to watch it. And I hate that I'm sharing part of it with you now, but I think it's important to understand how easily people can be corrupted into saying this type of disgusting nonsense. So go ahead and watch.
I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. Shelby Steele said that the Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities because we are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society. Now let me explain what that means. It means to say that not every Black American is a criminal, not every Black American is committing crimes, but we are unique in that we are the only people that fight and scream and demand support and justice for the people in our community that are up to no good. You would be hard-pressed to find, a Jewish person who has spent 5 stints in prison, who commits a crime and dies while committing a crime, and that the Jewish people champion and demand justice for. You will be hard-pressed to find this in white America. You'll be hard-pressed to find this even in Latino America.
I'm actually not hard-pressed at all. George Zimmerman was made to be a hero because he murdered a 17-year-old, a teenager. Donald Trump is celebrated by white Americans every single day, and he is literally a criminal. He's defrauded students. He's broken, he's used the office of the presidency to enrich himself, which is a violation of the Constitution's emoluments clause. I mean, this guy is a criminal, an incompetent one at that, through and through, and he gets celebrated all the time by white Americans. So what is she talking about? It's absolute nonsense. And what we're talking about here right now, we're not celebrating criminality, okay? What protesters are asking for right now, and it should be a simple ask. Stop murdering people. Cops should not be the jury, the judge, and the executioner. We should not be supporting extrajudicial murder, killings out on the streets, which is what she's helping to support right now. Garbage. She's just garbage. I can't stand this woman.
Yeah. So to me, the more interesting thing is the phenomenon of what right-wing wealthy patrons are willing to support and want to support. It's not just that they get a Black person to attack other Black people, and this is done not just in the case of African Americans, but across all the different ethnicities. So if you see a person on Fox News who's Muslim, they're almost definitely going to attack other Muslims. And so it's true of Latinos, it's true of women that they bring on, but it goes further than that. And this is a great example of it. It's not just that Blacks and Muslims and women, et cetera, are all wrong. It's that they are uniquely wrong. So they bring on Muslims to say that Muslim culture is unique, the Muslim religion is unique, and they'll bring on atheists to say, oh, no, none of the religions are true, but Islam is the worst of the worst. Why? Because the idea is Islam is irredeemable. It is uniquely bad. Why? It gives you a reason to hate those people and justify your hatred. And it gives you a reason to oppress them, to occupy them, etc. In the case of African Americans, if you notice, what she just said was that Blacks are unique in this. They're the only people who defend so-called criminals in their midst. But all the other people are wonderful. Whites are wonderful, Jews are wonderful, maybe even Latinos, okay?
That part was amazing, by the way. Even Latinos kind of, maybe. I hate them. I think they're terrible, but that part was just...
That was her going, I forgot if Boss Man told me to hate Latinos too. I know my main job here is to say Blacks are uniquely bad, right? So Boss Man, I know you hate Latinos too, but do I put that in this, or do you need Oh, you get the Latina to say that. Okay, no problem, boss man. Okay, and so I don't care if anybody's going to pretend to get their feelings hurt about what we say about Candace Owens. I will laugh and laugh and laugh. Okay, she definitely has a boss man. It's the person who signs her checks, and they pay her to attack her own. That's their whole point. She wasn't even a conservative before. She switched as soon as she started getting the checks, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, black people suck. They're all criminals, and they defend criminals. So look, just real quick, we don't even need to get into it, but I'll do it real super quick. George Floyd, at worst, maybe might have had a counterfeit $20 bill. That was enough reason for execution, so we shouldn't defend him from the people who murdered him. I mean, it's and to Anna's point, I mean, when the minute she said white people don't defend their own criminals, I was screaming, Trump, Trump. I mean, I can literally take you a half an hour through all the different crimes that he broke. I've gone over the 5 clear crimes 1,000 times, and every time he does one of those crimes, 40% of the white folks in this country jump up, actually a little bit larger than that, and go, no, he's a great criminal. He's our criminal. He's so awesome. I love the way he breaks the laws, law and order. What? Okay. And even today, Donald Trump clearly implied in a tweet that he was going to pardon Roger Stone, a convicted criminal, that he was going to quite literally bust him out of jail. Okay, white people don't support their own criminals? I mean, what a hilarious joke Candace Owens is. Look, Candace, I hope the house is big enough. I hope the I don't know that you got enough for a yacht, but whatever, you got a little dinghy, whatever it is, I hope it's big enough, and I hope you're comfortable enough, and I hope you got a nice car out of it, because you're going to live in eternal shame. You're the person who got paid to betray your own. Good luck with that. I hope you can't sleep at night, and I hope that money becomes an albatross around your neck.
I mean, he did everything illegal to give them the right to shoot him, to tase him. And at no point did they tase him or shoot him. They were so composed. They maintained a level of composure even when he took the baton and whipped them with it. Used a rock in his hand as a weapon. And at no point did they feel as though he was a threat to their life, where they had to use deadly force at no time, even when they're being slapped in the face with a baton.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Now, answer me this question, ladies and gentlemen. If this was a darker shade of melanin, if this was a brother from another mother, would he have survived? 10 seconds go by, 15 seconds go by. How many bullet holes would have been in this car? I'm done. You make the judgment. This is America.
To be honest, this is probably going to be and I'm going to say this at this table, the most pro-black president that we've had in our lifetime.
So had that asked me, I would have said, before you praise this president for being pro-black, before you praise this president for caring about ethnic communities and marginalized populations, do your homework. Well, some of y'all didn't do your homework. They didn't do their homework. So let me tell you just a little bit of research, not just him personally, but also some of his policies. Perhaps before they went and sat at this table, they should have done their homework. Because if they had done their homework, they would have known that President Trump has ramped up mass incarceration by instructing Attorney General Jeff Sessions to revise revitalize the war on drugs. They would have known that of the 87 picks for federal judges, 85 have been white and just one has been black and one has been Hispanic. They would have known that President Trump supported the Department of Justice engaging in unlawful voter purges, making it difficult for blacks to go and vote. They would have known that Trump is ending protection for predatory lenders, which disproportionately harm black people. They would have known that he is ignoring the affordable housing crisis by ordering HUD to triple the rents of poor tenants in public housing, which mostly affect black people. Do your homework. They would have known that he is proposing cutting $200 billion over the next 10 years from supplemental nutrition assistance programs that will bring more hunger in black and brown communities. They would have known that Trump is worsening the health of black communities through environmental deregulation, which disproportionately harms black people through exposure to pollution. Now, that's just a few on the policy side, but you don't have to go too far to ask what about him personally would make me know that he is not pro-black. I'm glad you asked, because in 1970, Trump's real estate company tried to avoid renting apartments to black tenants and gave preferential treatment to white tenants. He began his 2016 presidential campaign with a speech disparaging Mexican immigrants as criminals and rapists. Y'all remember that? In 2016, he said of people of color, you are living in poverty, your schools are no good, you have no jobs. Hold on, I'm a product of a HBCU and I'm a product of black school systems and black teachers. Don't you ever tell me that my black schools are... Hold on, I ain't done. He says you have no jobs, so what do you have to lose from electing me? In 2017, Trump said 15,000 recent immigrants from Haiti all have AIDS, and 40,000 Nigerians once seeing the United States would want to go back to their huts in Africa. He spent years suggesting that the nation's first black president was not a citizen of these United States. He called Puerto Ricans who's criticized his administration's response to Hurricane Maria. He called them politically motivated ingrates. Hold on, but he called those who marched beside white supremacists in Charlottesville, Virginia, he called them very fine people. He hired Steve Bannon, a white nationalist, as his chief strategist. He called Haiti and other African nations S-hole countries, and he's taking credit for an economy that has not been built on his administration, but was built on the backs of 8 years of hard work under the Obama administration. Negroes, please, don't you come up in here talking about this is the most pro-black president that you have ever seen when the record suggests that he cares nothing about people of color.
Is that we must never forget that economics was the reason that black people were brought to this country. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Do you understand that? That's what we came to do. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Now, if I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything, and then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa, that was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood, how can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have. That if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the fuck do I give a shit about burning the fucking Football Hall of Fame, about burning a fucking Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own, by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so fuck your Target. Fuck your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.